Good morning traders and welcome to today's live trading. Today is Thursday the 8th of November and as usual we are on the FTSE 100. So to quickly run you through my band analysis for today, you can probably quickly see that we've got a band around sort of the 7135 level, one above around the 7160 level, and then I haven't actually marked one in any lower until sort of really the area around 7080. So there's quite a distance between these two bands. There is a level in here that I've looked at. I'm just not that confident about making it an actual band that I take notice of. Hence why it's not on the chart really. Other than that, immediate trade setups that I'm looking at, I'd actually quite like to get long from this band this morning. You can see we've actually had a bit of a pin bar there at 7:45. I very rarely trade any signals before the 8 o'clock open though, so I won't be really taking any notice of that. Let me show you the higher time frame. So this is the hour. You can see over the last day or two we've had a decent move up, making higher highs, higher low. We've obviously made high from here, could potentially put in a lower low within this band, so that's something that I'm looking at. I think if I was to get long from this level, I'd probably be only looking for a retest of this band anyway. So I'm not even asking it to make a new high. Essentially, I'm just asking it to get back up towards where it has been. Mind you, that said, that's quite a negative bar. A quick reaction up there. So we'd have to be careful if it does start to get up there, that we don't see too much selling come in too quickly and miss out on a potential profit. But yeah, I mean the 4 hour doesn't really show much more than that. Same story obviously. But yeah, overall nice bullish price action at the moment, and I'd quite like to take a long on this market as it stands. So that's what I'm going to be looking for this morning, I think, immediately from this band. If we do just sort of get a burst up to this band, then there is the possibility for a short, excuse me, but what I might look to do instead is see if price can break above this band, retest and give me a long to try and get up to the band here, which I'll probably mark in actually, given how close we are, and yeah, basically see if we can get a move up, and if we can get a move up, see if we can get involved in it. So I'll wait for the open, and if we do start getting signals, I will update you. Okay, so it's looking like we're going to get a setup just above this candle here, high of 43.3, so I want to be in at 45.5. Submit that. I guess that order's there. I imagine we will be triggered. Just double check that's right. High of 43.3. No, it's 44.5. 44.5. Submit. Get the right price this time. Okay, so the order's in. So if that starts moving up again, we will get triggered this time. This stop obviously will go a little bit below this wick. There we go, we've been triggered. And obviously we're just looking for a move up into the band above like we were talking about before. So it happened fairly quickly. You can see we did got like what looks to be a good signal candle at 10 to 8, but then you get this move up into the open, and then as soon as the open happens you get this movement against you, and that's really why, excuse me, I don't really like trading just before the open, because you get these spike moves which often can take you out of the position when nothing really changes, and yes, sometimes you might miss the move, but for me I'd rather now and again miss the move and not get caught in like the opening volatility sort of thing than and get stopped out that way. I would rather wait for the open to happen, see if my trade sets up still like it has today, and then trade that. Sorry, let me just bring ticket across. Yeah, that's what I would rather do. I just feel like it's easier for me to react in that environment because the price moves so quickly when the market opens that it's really difficult to react to anything that happens, because price can be anywhere in a split second, so it does get a little bit frantic, so it can be quite difficult. But this is moving up nicely. We're up to about 6 points now, 6 or 7 points. Like I say, just looking for a move into the band above. If I get this candle, I will just close this position. If not, obviously I'll just let the trade run, and we'll see if it can get up there. The higher time frame analysis is good, as we were going through this morning. So we'll just have to see how this moves. I'll just let the trade record, because I don't think it's going to get there imminently while I'm speaking, and I don't want to just talk rubbish whilst we wait to see what it does. But yeah, looking good so far. Okay, so we're at 10 points, or we were then. Let me see what it wants to do here. 9 and a bit points. Typically you hit record and it drops down. So just watching this, obviously we got very close sort of half an hour ago. Price has come down, retested the band below, and then we've had another move up into this band. So I do intend on getting out this time. That said, it is just hovering around, but this is a really nice candle. And like I said, looking at the upper time frame analysis from this morning, the potential for a bullish move was good, which is kind of why I was happy to sit in this again and see if it wanted to come and actually give this band a proper test. At the minute, we've just kissed it. So that's sort of the reasoning as to why I'm maybe a little bit more calm or relaxed about giving it that little bit more wiggle room to try and get up into this band if it is going to do that. Obviously, sod's law, as soon as you press this, close position button, it's just going to fly. Like I think what happened last week, actually. So yeah, we're getting up to 9.2 now. Are we going to actually move into this band so I can close this trade? No, we're still messing around. So I will go back to watching. At least you know my thinking now, and hopefully I get to close this trade soon. I've got plenty to be doing today, and I'd quite like to have an early-ish finish. But now I've said that out loud, obviously the markets are probably not going to give me that. So I'll go back to watching. So we've now come all the way down. We're literally hovering above where my stop is. I haven't actually put it in, but it's the low of this candle. Low is 32.8, so the stop is 30.8. I can just put that in. I believe 30.8. So we're very, very, very close now. Really, looking back, it looks like I just got a bit greedy, really. We were up here at 10 points in profit twice, and both times I didn't take the profit off the table, and that's for one simple reason, really. As you can see, probably on the ticket just then, we were 12 points down, with a couple of points to go, so 10 points, as good as it looked in that picture now, risk reward wise wasn't fantastic. However, that said, I was actually happy to take a slightly worse risk reward than normal, just because of how good the upper time frame analysis was. And actually, if we'd have spiked up through this today's R1, I would have taken the profit. Literally, if we'd got to 12 points, I think I would have closed it. Rather than coming up and retesting this high. I didn't really need to see that much. So yeah, it's frustrating because obviously we've had two goes at it, and I knew when we were coming down here that more likely than not we were at least going to get more of a retracement this time. Now, this could warrant the retracement. I'd be very surprised if I don't get stops. Very, very, very surprised. What I could see happening now is a retest of this orange line, and then maybe it moves up again. That's definitely a possibility. But that said, there is one factor still supporting a move higher, and if I show you the 4-hour chart, that's this untested ATMA here. Now, price looks a distance away from that at the minute, but actually, if price was to move all the way back up into the band above from where it is now, this ATMA would start moving upwards, and it would probably actually look like it had touched, even though it hadn't. So that is one possibility. But I mean, you might think it sounds like I'm clutching at straws, and to be honest, I'm not trying to find analysis to support me to stay in this position, etc., etc. You know, I'm in it now. The stop is in. You know, what happens. But that is one thing where if it did come up, I wouldn't be surprised, because the 4-hour chart is the most powerful chart that I look at. You know, I look at the 4-hour, the 1 hour, and the 5-minute, and the highest time frame that you look at tends to be your most powerful chart, and that's definitely the case here. And we still do have that ATMA support. But that said, what we could easily see is a move down to this orange line here, yesterday's close. That would coincide with not only a test of the ATMA, but a spike through. If we then closed above it and moved higher, I wouldn't be surprised to see that either. And that would have long stopped me out of this position. So, yeah, I mean, the profit was there on the table. Looking back at this, you know, it's obviously easy to say that now looking back, but when you look at your exit criteria, and for me the exit criteria is as it reaches a band or just before, which both of these little pins here qualify as. You know, they both actually touch the border of the band that I drew this morning. So yeah, although the risk to reward on the trade wasn't great at the time, I think in hindsight, given the reaction that we had up at this band last time, it was quite a quick one. Maybe then some more caution should have been taken when approaching that band. So I'll let the rest of this trade play out. Like I say, I'm really just waiting to be stopped now. I think I'd be surprised if we get a turnaround here. It looks like we've had the little bounce from testing the 200. As you can see, there's more reaction on that candle. There's more selling, coming on that candle. So yeah, we'll see. I'll bring the ticket back across, and let's see how this trade finishes. Okay, 5 to 10, and there we are. Trade stopped. Don't really know what to say about that one, to be honest. I feel like it was a lesson in, I want to say, how not to trade. I just don't think I was cautious enough with that one. I was really happy with the analysis this morning, like I was going through. The higher highs, higher lows. We identified the level where I thought we would see a decent reaction. I identified where best to take profit from on that trade. You know, it looked good on the hourly and the 4-hourly. It was nice and clean. The price started to move initially, just before the open. It then came back, gave us this really nice pin bar, and I got into the trade. And really, I should have been probably out of the trade within 15 minutes. That said, like over an hour and a half later, I've been stopped. So yeah, I think I maybe got a bit too hung up there on risk to reward when the analysis was really good. That's better. You know, when you're trying to quantify your probability of a trade, the analysis for that trade and the patterns and just the general setup for that trade was really decent. And actually, just because the band was lower than where I would have liked it to be for a profit target, I shouldn't really have let that interfere with the trade itself. So in hindsight, looking back on this trade, and of course I journal all the trades, so when I journal this later, that will be the lesson to take away from this trade. Too greedy when it came to the profit that I wanted from this trade. Basically, I was dictating to the market how much profit I wanted to take, rather than letting the market tell me where to take profits. That's probably the best way of putting it. You've got to take each scenario on its own merit, really. You'll have trades that are similar, but the pattern's never going to look exactly the same. The analysis is never going to be exactly the same. So it's difficult to say you'll have the same trades. You might have the same type of trades and the same setups and similar circumstances, but you'll never have two trades the same. And that's really what I'll take away from this trade, is that, like I said, greed maybe just got the better of me today, and I should have taken the profit where I usually do, just below the band level, or just outside the band level. You've seen me do that on this channel numerous times, and I probably should have done that today. But that said, it is easy to look back on some trades and think, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. In hindsight, we never know how much profit's going to be on the table. It's easy to look back and say, oh yeah, I should have got out at the highs, which is basically what I'm saying here. And anybody new to the channel will be thinking, well, what an idiot. Of course you should have got out at the highs, but nobody knows how to do that. It just so happens that in this particular scenario, the highs should have been my profit target, and they weren't. So yeah, there we go. But as usual, I do hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you managed to take away something from this video. I know I will be taking something away from today's trading. I guess anything that you make money from sort of long term, you could sort of call yourself professional at it, because you do that as your profession, and I definitely like to think of this as one of my professions. So just because you do this a lot, maybe class yourself as a professional trader, doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. Evidently there today. I've been doing this a good number of years now, and days like this aren't completely infrequent. Obviously they're much less frequent than they used to be, and the mistakes are nowhere near as drastic as they used to be. But no, mistakes do still happen, and the best way to do it is just to learn from them, and make sure you can implement the lessons that you have learned in your future trading performance. And like I was saying, look, price has quite quickly come down to this orange level that I thought it might come and visit, and it will be interesting to see now how it reacts down here. The upper time frame analysis has changed quite a lot, actually. This is the first test of the 4-hour ATMA. It's just somewhere across here, but actually the hourly chart looks a lot different. It looks quite bearish now for the meantime. So be interesting to see if it does gain any support before this band down here. But yes, I'll stop rambling now. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you next week.